And if you want to leave here with one takeaway, make sure that before you take your courses, before you enroll in the courses, before you hit that click register button, make sure you talk with the advisors at your current institution, the advisors at your the institution you're looking to transfer to as well. You need to talk to the people who have the information and know what the actual true policy is. Dual Enrollment 101, transferring credits to a college. We're going to talk about the benefits, the challenges, and most importantly, some strategies, some tips for you to be successful if you are considering transferring credits to a college, restarting your college career, or just trying to see how you can maximize your college credits at another institution. So, the benefits of college credit transfer are simple, right? If you have already taken courses at one school, why should you take the same courses at another school? Now, there are some answers to that to say, hey, maybe it's been a few years, might have been a decade. Let's say if it's in IT turns over every 18 months or so. So you always need refreshers in that industry. But depending on the industry, you may just need a refresher. But a lot of times, the benefit of transferring college credits is to get you that step ahead. All right. So, number one, advanced standing. Okay. Students who transfer in credits come in at a higher credit level, right? It's pretty simple. If you start school and it's your first college credit, you have 0 credits. But a student transferring in credits may start with 12 credits, 30 credits, 60 credits. Okay. So on and so forth. So the advanced standing affords you many benefits. We're going to talk about that here in the next few slides, some of those benefits. Another one, financial savings, a huge cost benefit to transferring your credits, mainly because when you are attempting to transfer those credits, some schools, and we're going to get into this in a few, may or may not take your actual credits. But those that do, you are saving tons of money. You're saving the time of going to find scholarships, loans, or if you're doing grassroots, whatever the case may be. Number 3, academic preparedness, right? If you're transferring into a college, colleges are typically, especially in the admissions office, more likely to bring you in if you've already shown that you've been successful while in college. I said this in our first meeting, was that admissions offices really, the main thing they're thinking about is, if I allow person A into our institution, will they be successful? That is the biggest question on the board. And if you transfer in college credits, especially credits that are showing you to be successful with a C or better, of course, hopefully those are all A's. If not, that's fine. But it really helps you with getting that advanced start, saving money, and showing, and you also knowing that you are prepared academically. So, like I said, that advanced start, the earlier the better, right? Accelerated progress. Instead of some of your peers that may be taking 3 years, 4 years to finish a degree, you may take only 2 years, maybe even 1 year. Okay. Just depending on your situation. So, accelerated progress is way better than non accelerated progress, right? Opportunity access. Okay. So, if you come in as a student, let's say you have about 60 plus credits or so, and you're working on your bachelor's to 120, your counterparts that may, or excuse me, your peers that may be your same age or in your same quote unquote class, may not have those same opportunities that you would by transferring in credits because you've already met certain prerequisites, right? So, for those who don't know, prerequisites are what you need to have prior to you enrolling in a course. So, students who transfer in with more credits inevitably have more prerequisites, which inevitably opens up more opportunities for advanced class, internships, study abroad opportunities, so on and so forth. And of course, the competitive edge. I just spoke about that, that when you're considering scholarly achievements, even down to earning a scholarship, things of that nature, having those college credits under your belt really provides you that competitive advantage. Now, the financial incentive, I spoke about that at the beginning. Tuition savings, right? Why not decrease your cost for the same degree. If I can pay, let's throw out there, I'm just gonna throw a number, $1,000 for a class, right? As opposed to $5,000, would you not sign up for that? Right. But that only happens if you've already taken those courses and you were able to transfer those courses in. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the nuances of how you have to go about making sure all of your credits transfer in. Resourceful investment, right? If you use dual enrollment, which I push, dual enrollment, dual credit, concurrent enrollment, early college, college and high school. Basically, if you're taking college courses while you are in high school, if you do it correctly, you can save a ton, and I mean a ton of money. I've seen students graduate with AA degrees, certificates. Some of you may have seen the 16-year-old teacher who's the youngest black teacher ever in America at 16 years old. Well, how did she graduate college so early? Dual enrollment. Two, how does she get two AA degrees? Dual enrollment. And how did she get there? She took college courses early. So you're always going to hear me talk about take those college courses early and make efficient use of those high school years. Some of you watching this right now have children that are in fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade. It is time for you to start thinking about that now as opposed to later. If you're a student watching this, probably not in fifth grade or so, but if you're a sibling, someone who's just thinking about college for your family member, whoever that may be, understand the high school years are so important to save money. All right. And a budgeting advantage, of course, right? If you have those college credits transferring in, you're able to really utilize those funds that you saved for other projects, for other initiatives and goals that you want to achieve. All right. So there's a lot of financial incentive to transferring credits. But the first thing is making sure that you enroll in the courses early, pass them successfully, and then transfer them to a college or university, whatever the case may be. Now, this next slide is some of the challenges, and this is key, okay? And I want you to really think. This is where I need your question brain to start going. You should have questions after this slide, okay? So there's not a actual term, but we're going to call it selective credit acceptance, okay? Every college does their own evaluation. Every college does their own evaluation. Every college does their own evaluation. Okay. Keep that in mind that some colleges or universities can limit certain credits to be transferred in. Some they just open up the gates and say, hey, if you have credits at this certain instructional level, all right, and we can get into 3,000, 2,000 level, 5,000, 6,000 level, all that good stuff deep in the academic woods. But every college does not evaluate the same. So you have to remember that. Just because one college lets you transfer in credits does not mean that another college will. Keep that in mind. So to that point, there's different variances of criteria, meaning eligibility, right? What makes you eligible to transfer in those policies? Depending on the college, all right, there's many factors from the size of the college. What's their current budget? Are they in the red? Because remember, these schools are a business. Don't forget that. What state the college is in? Is the college a residence, meaning that they have dormitories there at the college? All of these factors are in play when colleges are deciding whether or not to accept credits, because if they let more credits in, that's less money for them. Okay. So if it's less money for them, that means it's more money for you. So colleges always have to play that kind of balance game as it relates to accepting credits. All right. And then, of course, the experience, right? Some of the challenges, and as I spoke earlier, it could be a benefit, but it can also be a challenge, right? There's a yin and yang to everything in life. All right. There's a good, the bad. Okay. So the challenge of transferring credits is that maybe certain milestones, certain activities, like experiencing that first day of classes ever. If you're a dual enrollment student taking courses since ninth grade, Your first day of college class is not going to be the same, will not have the same impact as someone who has never taken college course. It's just not the same. You're not going to be able to have that same conversation at the cafeteria at all because you've been in these classes and you know what it's like. So remember, there's many benefits outside of saving time and saving money to dual enrollment, but it also gives you that preparedness level, gets you ahead of the game in that sense. All right. So the question is, all right, Chris, well, if every college does not evaluate the same, how do I navigate this? What do I do? How do I do this? Well, guess what, folks? It's my favorite R word, research, right? People love it when it's used in favor of maybe their argument. But when it comes to your college selection, how you're going to transfer courses, are you, when, if, all these come into play. But it depends on the institution, right? What are their policies? All right. What are the policies at that institution? If one institution says our policy is 1, 2, 3, ABC, that does not mean that the next school is 1, 2, 3, ABC. It may be DEF 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So you always have to remember every college does not evaluate the same. So you have to do your research, okay? And I mean deep dive, phone calls, emails, online, Google, Chat GPT, all of the above, all right? You have to do the research, all right? Now, strategic course choices, all right? If you focus on the universally accepted subjects, in Florida, they call them foundations of knowledge and learning, FKLs for short, right? Let's think about what type of courses are these universally accepted subjects. Some of those subjects, business 101, psychology 101, history 101, history 102. What else do we have? Communication, public speaking, okay? All of those general education courses, all right? General education, foundational courses, depending on the state, depending on the institution, they may call it something else, but it is the foundational courses that are universally accepted. So those are always good to focus on, especially in your early years of college enrollment, especially if you do dual enrollment, which I highly recommend. This will give you a much more higher likelihood that your credits will be transferred. So if you decide to take, let's say, for example, I'm trying to think of a very unique, let's say videography, right? That is a course at most colleges, not nearly all of them. Okay. Some places have videography, some places don't. So if you decide to take videography, that course may not transfer as seamless as a, say, a business 101 course, which would usually count for a business foundation course credit. Okay. All right. So make sure that you are focusing on those universally accepted subjects and those courses. But the best way to do this is to speak with some of the advisors, the transfer advisors more specifically, as you are doing this research, to make sure that what you're reading online is the same thing that they are telling you and that you are reading on their website or in their school policy manual. All right. And of course, like I said, I didn't say this, but proactive communication, speaking to the advisors, is extremely important. Most people, let me tell you what most people do and where they go wrong. Most people think about the advisor after they take the course. And you want to know, because I've been an advisor and I work with students at this very moment. You want to know how this question usually goes? This question usually goes like this. Hey, Dr. Stubbs, I took this course and I reached out to this college I was thinking about transfer, and they said they're not going to take it. Well, what? I don't know what's going on. Why aren't they taking it? Well, student, in this example, that is because this particular college evaluates their credits differently than others. And most importantly, this course that you took is not a universally, known course, right? So the likelihood of that has also been decreased. But what you, and obviously working with a student, you got to be very tactful, especially young minds, and, keeping their motivation, but also telling them like it is, right? The mistake that student made was that they're talking to advisors after the class. You got to talk to all of the advisors before you register to make sure not only if your courses are going to transfer, but that they're in a sequential order in which you will be able to build upon, compound that knowledge over and over throughout your academic journey. Okay. This is the key to success to make sure your course credits will transfer. The key to success is to speak to your advisor before you enroll. The key to your success is to speak to your advisors. Let me be clear, advisors, not just one. Speak to many before you enroll. All right. That's the key. Now, as I've been stating, all credits are not approved equally, right? We have varied evaluations. And then there's this little thing known as articulation agreements. Articulation agreements. Most people may see that word articulation and think, oh, articulate. Oh, you get to speak, to communicate. It doesn't really mean that in the college setting. What it really means is that, let's say community college or state college A has a agreement with the local nearby university or may even within that state, okay? And they have a predetermined credits pathway that says, hey, if you complete your coursework successfully here at the community college or state college, you will be automatically accepted into this college or university. Let me say that again. Articulation agreements are predetermined pathways that, in essence, and I'm using a very general description here, that if you pass these courses successfully, you will be automatically, and like I've been saying this whole presentation, it's not automatic, but there's a higher likelihood. And what's most important is that in your research, if you find an articulation agreement, be sure to look at the wording, look at the eligibility, look at the criteria, but most importantly, talk with the advisors at the community college / state college and the university that you are looking to transfer to in the future. Because one thing I found out, personal experience and professional experience working with students, taking them side by side, screen sharing, being on the phones with advisors while they're meeting with them, so on and so forth. The biggest problem comes in is that sometimes an agreement can read one way or was presented one way on, let's say, the community college's website, and it may be presented and be read one way differently on the college's website. But the neutral official piece is the actual agreement. And you yourself can reach out to the state college, the community college, the university, and ask them, can I obtain a copy of the actual articulation agreement? I know you're like, why would I ask? Am I really going to? Yes, if you really want to know what the details are, because unfortunately, not everyone reads the agreements in details, and everyone's human. And as an administrator that's been doing this for a decade plus, just trust me, there are many people who may not have all of the information, but the agreement states what the actual policy is. All right. And the ongoing theme here is, hey, find some advisors to support you. Okay. Use those counselors at your high school. Use those advisors at the community college, at the state college. If you attempt to go through this process without communicating with an actual person, I am not ever going to say it's not possible, because anything is possible, right? However, it is going to be a lot more challenging doing it on your own. So that is why, if you heard my last series, we talked about mentorship and finding a mentor. And I spoke specifically about academic advisors. All right. I said academic advisors, career counselors, and professors. Those should be your best friends. I call them the big three, your best friends. You need to make some friends. You need to make 3 friends at minimum while in college: academic advisor, career counselor, and professor. If you don't make any friends socially, that's fine. At least you got these 3 to help you get through this successfully, okay? And so what does this college transfer, okay, Dr. Stubbs, you talked to us about the benefits. You talked to us about the challenges. You told me ways that I can navigate this process to be more efficient. All right. But what impacts does it have? Right. The peer connections. Okay. Yes, although sometimes you may lose those milestone events, like I said, like first day of class ever, never had college experience, but you will make peer connections. Okay. And by peer, I'm meaning those in your, not just your same age, not just your same grade year, but those in your same mental, mental sphere. Okay. Like you think the same, because if you get into a class and you just have a conversation, you find out someone else taking early college, there's a connection. There's something you can relate to. All right. Social dynamics, right? Depending on where you come in with your credits, that may boost your social dynamics. It may cause a negative impact on them. Can't say for sure, but the main thing is just be a human and be nice to people, and things will work itself out. And of course, extracurriculars. This is a big one here, right? Here's a question you should ask. Can a freshman who just arrived, excuse me, no, can a student who just arrived, who should be a freshman, but is coming in as actually a junior because of the credits, let's say they had an AA degree that they, completed while in high school, do you believe that student is able to participate in extracurriculars that juniors and seniors are only able to? Can that student participate? Yes. Yes. College credits are what identify you. It's not your age. It's not the color of your skin. It's not the color of your hair. It's not the social group you're in. It's not the fraternity or sorority you're in. It is the number of credits that you currently have at the institution, which determines what your actual status is at the college. Okay. And for the final slide here, so if you want to master some of these credit transfer strategies, okay, like I said, consult with counselors, consult with advisors, talk to them regularly. I'm talking once a week. All right. Some people may say, oh, that's a lot. Do you want to get through college paying the least amount of money in the least amount of time? If it's yes, then you need to reach out to these advisors, to these counselors. If it's no, well, guess what? You still need to reach out to them because you want to make sure you're in the right courses and going forward towards the degree that's in alignment with your career goals. All right. Careful course selection. Remember, universally accepted courses, business, psychology, history, speech, communication. All right. If you select those courses, especially if you're taking courses while in high school or middle school nowadays, those courses will help you transfer your credits a lot more seamlessly. All right. And then document diligence. That's a big word to say. Research, research, research. All right. Here it talks about the transcripts and the syllabi. So here's what happens. All right. You transfer in your you send in your transcript to this college or university you want to go to. Typically, and I've seen this with my own eyes. All right. I'm speaking from professional experience, like literally being the one to assess if we're going to allow courses to transfer in. We take the syllabus of the course that you took at school A, and we look at the syllabus of the course at our school. So we have two syllabuses there, right? We're just sitting there looking at two syllabus or syllabi, right? Looking at the syllabi. And then we say, all right, I'm looking at the description. It matches that description. I'm looking at the learning objectives. It matches that description. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Some colleges go deeper than that. They'll go down into the lessons, the actual topic that's discussed. But the majority of colleges simply look at, does your syllabus from that course match the description and the learning objectives? Okay. If your learning objectives, let's say your description matched, but the learning objectives were different, now that's where conversation has to come in, negotiation, really advocating for yourself. This is why it's good to have someone like myself to be there with you while you're meeting with these advisors, because we would show up with all the documentation that says, no, we learned everything that you all teach here at the university in this course 2 years ago. We need to count that so that we don't have to pay this extra money. Okay. Unfortunately, and let me say this, that's the human version of the evaluation. There are online versions, as you can imagine. I believe the last one I saw was like, I think Texas A&M University has a really good credit transfer interface and system set up where you're able to input the course you have and they can match it and it does it automatically. Every college does not do that. I can tell you that for free, that every college does not do that. So it's important that if you do have that opportunity to transfer in college credits, it's important to know, is it a person evaluating this or is it a machine? Because we all know machines can make mistakes. Technology, right, can make, it's great when it works, but sometimes, when it doesn't, it can cause a problem. But same with human beings, okay? Human beings make mistakes too. So if someone says no to a course you have done the research on and says this course should transfer, you then would have to prove, and you can always appeal certain decisions at a college. A lot of people don't know that. They just take whatever someone tells them, and then you ask them, excuse me, administrator, staff member, I appreciate your evaluation. However, due to the research that I've conducted and based on the policy that you all have in place, I believe that my course should count towards your institution. And guess what they'll do? They will direct you to the appeals process at the college, where you would then go through multiple layers and hopefully get to what you actually need and get it done. But that, you have to show up with the evidence. You have to show up with the research-based information that is documented and official documentation. You can't just show it with, hey, I saw a YouTube video that said this. No, you have to show it with their official documentation. That is today's presentation on dual enrollment 101, transferring credits. Remember, every college does not, and I mean does not, allow you to transfer in credits. Some are different. Everyone is different. Every school is different. There is no school that's built exactly the same. So you have to keep that in mind. And if you want to leave here with one takeaway, make sure that before you take your courses, before you enroll in the courses, before you hit that click register button, make sure you talk with the advisors at your current institution, the advisors at your the institution you're looking to transfer to as well. You need to talk to the people who have the information and know what the actual true policy is.